Good morning and welcome to the wonderful world of Des Moines. Now just sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Hello.
Hello.
We've had kind of a lazy day today, just staying at home and trying to get some things done. We finished watching The Leftovers, which...
Don't waste your time.
Yeah, I would say I don't recommend it. At first, it was good,
Well,
but really, it was curious. You know, you wanted to find out what was happening or what was going to happen, but it was possibly the most depressing show I've ever watched.
Yeah, 1 out of 10, I give it a 2 for the entire 3 seasons. Yeah,
the first season was pretty good, and then they got progressively worse.
Well, it made you wonder a lot of stuff, and then
it did make you think.
Season 2 makes you go, well, what the heck? And season 3 makes you go, man, I wasted my time with this. So, yeah.
But we had to watch it to the end to see what would happen and
that thing all over.
To see if it ever got any better. So that's pretty much. We had Josie and Libby this morning, so. Yeah. We had a busy morning, kind of into the afternoon too.
Yeah.
So I got this question from one of the viewers. It was really something, it's kind of a hard question to me. It's a lot to think about. They asked, if you woke up one day and the state of Iowa told Joe and I that we could decide where the allocated funds towards disabilities were to be used. Like what programs will we keep? What programs will we get rid of? I honestly can't think of any programs to get rid of. Unless you can. I can't. I guess the one program I would like to see return would be the sheltered workshops. That's where Craig worked in a sheltered workshop through Christian Opportunity Center when he was in high school and after, until they closed it down because of a new law that said that those were segregated workplaces.
Yeah. Sweatshops is what basically they were trying to say.
Well, they said that people with disabilities should be able to work integrated into the community to work, that they shouldn't be segregated. I don't think, well, I know the people that worked there would have never made that decision. Some of the people that worked at the workshop, some of the managers did say, well, part of the reason was because there were people that would continue to work there that actually, sorry about the dogs. But there were people that worked there who actually could get a job in the community, but it was just easier for them to stay there. I guess I can see that. What I would like to see actually though is some kind of a test or some kind of, I'm trying to think of the dogs have decided to take this time to be squirrely. Some way that you qualify or are not qualified to work there, I guess. Certainly, I think Craig would continue to qualify for the rest of his life and most of the people I know with children on the autistic spectrum, unless they're very high functioning on the high end of the spectrum, meltdowns are a real part of everyday life. They don't happen every day, but you never know when they're going to happen. You never know when a trigger is going to happen. And there's just not any workplace that wouldn't be a sheltered workshop that would accept that, or that, that would be possible for if Craig was bagging groceries and something triggered him and he had a meltdown, how would that be dealt with? He would have to have a one-on-one job coach full-time, and that's never going to happen.
That could quickly get in between him and the situation.
Yeah.
If something happened and he thought the checker was pushing the stuff down to him too fast or something.
Yeah, he couldn't keep up. That would upset Craig.
He would get angry, and then it would look like he's going to lash out at that person and try to stem on their arm and squeeze them or something. Absolutely not.
Yeah, what would happen if he squeezed someone the way he squeezes us? We know that Craig's not going to hurt us. I mean, it hurts sometimes, but he's not doing it to hurt us, and he's not going to do something that's detrimental to us. But a stranger, no, they're not going to know that. And I mean, there's a very real chance that they might call the police or someone to get him under control, which is terribly frightening to me.
Yeah, and we'd never say that we want to just stop the one-on-one integration like that. A lot of kids and adults, that's going to work great for them. It wouldn't work for us. So what happened is they did that, and they took a great situation away from a certain percentage of kids, grown adults that worked for. And I guess we wouldn't be pulling money from anywhere, but you just need to level the playing field a little bit.
Right.
The people that made the decisions, I'll pull no punches, had no idea of what they were doing.
Exactly.
They were absolutely clueless on anything from the medium to low end of anything with any child with a disability.
Yeah, they could. I just don't think they could. They had to have no idea what they were doing and how that was going to affect not only the lives of the people with disabilities, but their families.
Yeah.
The society puts so much self-worth, or they put so much weight on whether or not you have a job and what your job is.
What are you worth to society?
Yeah.
And
a long time ago, years ago, I watched an episode of Oprah where there was a young lady who was in a coma. I don't remember all the circumstances, but her husband wanted to end life support, and her parents did not. And I'll never forget the question that Oprah asked the parents. She said, do you feel like your daughter will ever be a contributing member of society? And that it hit really hard, and honestly made me lose. Maybe she didn't realize what she was saying or the impact that would have on parents of children with disabilities that were unable to work and contribute to society like many people think. Is that how you determined whether or not someone, I mean, to me, she was, by saying that, and maybe I misread the whole thing, and it's not that I hate Oprah, that just made me lose a lot of respect, and that's pretty much when I stopped watching that show. But so is that how we decide if people live or die? If they can contribute to society in the way that people think they should contribute to society? Craig does not work. Craig will never be able to have a full-time job. If there was a sheltered workshop, sure, Craig could go and work there, and he would probably enjoy it. I in no way think that would add to the value of Craig's life. I don't think that makes you a contributing member of society. I think there are many ways to be a contributing member of society. I think that the way Craig contributes to society is, I think he brings people happiness. He brings us happiness.
Yep.
But I also think he's here to teach people a lesson in patience and understanding, seeing people for something other than what we normally consider to be a valuable person. To realize that life's not all about how much money you make. I talk about kindness a lot, but I do think the best thing that I can contribute is kindness. I don't think the jobs that I've worked at, I don't think that contributes to the value of what my life is. I think what contributes to the value of what my life is the way I've made other people feel. And that's what I strive for. Anyway, that's way off the subject.
Yeah, we jumped off the boat.
It's just been something that's on my mind because I talked to someone I hadn't talked to in a long time, and I told them how well Craig has been doing. And their first question was, "Oh, does he have a job?" And that just, it brought the whole thing to the forefront again about what people see as you're doing well. You know, if you when someone asks you how your children are doing, what are they expecting to hear? If you're saying they're doing well, they want to hear where they're working, what kind of job they have.
Yeah. It's not like, oh, great, he's a computer programmer, but he's really suffering from depression and anxiety from this job, but he's making great money. Yeah. Right. Or do you say, hey, they're doing great, they're happy, they're having fun, and which one sounds better? Come on.
Yeah, I feel like it's just ingrained into us. And I mean, even, if you write a Christmas letter, you see someone, you do tend to say, oh yeah, Stephanie's doing well, she's working here.
Yeah.
She you don't say, oh, she's just really happy and she's just a nice person and she takes Craig, or, the same with Bennett. We start off telling people where he's working, we don't start off by saying, well, they're just a really nice person and I'm really proud of them for that, which is actually what we should be the most important thing we share about each other and about people.
It's great. We noticed that Bennett displayed kindness like 17 times in 1 week, and because that stuff's hard. That stuff's hard to log, and in your mind, you get warm feelings about that, and that makes you feel good about your kids or a friend or a parent, whatever. But the actual instances, you don't tend to put those to memory, and it's too bad. There's no way we couldn't just log those in and remember all those good times like that. Seems like the easiest stuff is, well, you learn where they work, so that's the first thing you say.
Right. It's true. So the sheltered workshop would be the biggest thing that I'd like to bring back, to give Craig something that he enjoyed doing, but and also it taught him a lot of skills there. He was learning how they were working on, he would work quietly. That was a big one. And it wouldn't disturb other people. He wouldn't disturb other people he was working around. And that, I don't know if they called them meltdowns, but that, they had a goal that he would only have so many meltdowns per day. So not only was he able to have a job there and earn a little paycheck, he was also able to learn some valuable life skills, which was nice because once they get out of high school, you don't really have a place to send them to work on that, except Craig did go to Dayhab. But Dayhab was a lot more about being in the community and being with other people with disabilities. And Craig really did enjoy that when we were in Knoxville. However, COVID kind of wrecked that whole thing. They were just starting to get back to where it was more of a semblance of what it used to be actually when we moved here. There was quite a time when they just had to stay there in their little room that they're building, and they'd watch videos, and maybe they worked on crafts, and sometimes they
always seemed like they had puzzles and stuff like that. I think they even had they had like foosball and a ping pong table at one time, a small one off the side.
Yeah.
But I don't think any of them would want to
It was nice. They had a little area set up like a living room. So that's, I guess, would be my thing that I would like to see the most. Also, I guess more programs like Dayhab, although I know there's a lot more out there that I just don't know about, and I haven't put the time and effort into finding out because I guess things are going well for us. So I haven't really sought out any other things to get Craig involved in. We do the volunteering. That helps Craig, and it makes him feel good to do that. He likes doing that. And we have our daily things that we do where we work on a lot of his skills.
Get him out. He's
out in the community a lot.
And that's probably the best thing for Craig is just, you got to put him out there where he's a little bit on an uncomfortable part to get him to.
No, he's learning how to cope.
Yeah, it makes him cope.
Yeah, because if he stays home all the time, then he doesn't ever have to learn how to do that, basically.
Yep.
So they asked me if there are any organizations that we followed or really believed in that we would recommend people to contribute to. And honestly, I don't really have a certain one. We think a lot of Christian Opportunity Center. They helped Craig a lot. They also have housing for people with disabilities. And they have programs for them, and the workshop used to be a big part of COC, but now I'm not sure. I think I know they still teach them life skills in the houses, but I haven't had a connection with them for quite a while now, so I'm not sure what all they're doing there, but it's a very nice organization, and they do a lot for people with disabilities. Here in Des Moines, there's also, not in Des Moines, it's in Altoona, Homestead, which is a community for adults with autism.
It's expanded out. It's not entirely autistic community there anymore, but it's a wide spectrum of people that need help there.
Personally,
primarily autism, though.
Yeah, I always like to help individuals. If I know a family that's struggling and needs help, I guess I've always been more to want to contribute to that too. I guess where I see the need and then I can do something to help them. We've done a lot of that over the years, but it's not that I don't recommend contributing to these organizations, because certainly I do. And I guess we'll wrap it up there. I got way off track on what we were talking about, but just something that was kind of on my heart. So I thought I'd share that with you, and I welcome your thoughts too. And also organizations that you have a tie to, or that you feel strongly about, that you think are worthy causes for if people want to contribute. And what are your experiences with programs that your children are involved in, or that you're involved in if you're on the spectrum. With that, I guess we'll move on to the rest of the video. We actually didn't do this today, we did this yesterday, but I'm putting it in today's video. Craig and I made some Australian meat pies, which turned out fantastic. Yeah. They were delicious. And that was a fun recipe that one of our viewers sent to us. We will definitely be trying those again, maybe with a different filling next time, although I love the filling so much. I don't know if I'd change it. Joe got some fun gifts from some viewers. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Some of them we didn't, there was nothing in the package that told who they were from. So we want to express how thankful we are. And also to Scott, who sent me the little dot comic book, which I haven't seen in many years. And I just wanted to take a special chance to say thank you, because for my part anyway, I was behind the camera with Craig. So anyway, thank you very much. We enjoyed that, and we'll see you tomorrow. Oh, and if you would like to email us with a question or any comments, our email is ourdailyview1992@gmail.com. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.
Peace.
G'day, mates, and welcome to Chef Craig here. And tonight we're making Australian meat pies.
All right, so the first thing we need to do, I have these beef chuck steaks, and I've cut them into strips. And that's what the recipe said to do. And will you pour that 1/4 of a cup of oil into the pan? And then we are going to put half of the meat in the pan and brown it.
Half of the meat?
Mm-hmm.
Half of the meat?
So don't put the whole thing in there, just put some of it. So we have the meat in the pan, and I've cut this into strips. That's what it said to do. And it said to make sure you brown them good because that enhances the flavor. So for this step, Craig and I will be watching this and turning it until we get all of the meat cooked. We browned this portion of the meat, and now we have the rest of it in the pan, and we're browning it. And I've lost Craig to the sunroom for the minute. See how it's looking, Craig?
Yep.
The meat's kind of popping, so I'm not excited about that, but we just have to brown it up nice and good and put it back in this pot.
Brown.
And then we'll have to do some chopping, some onions and garlic, and cooking some other ingredients to put in. We got all of our meat browned, and now Craig is chopping the onions in the Chop Wizard. And you need 2 large onions. That's what this recipe calls for. And it also calls for 3 cloves of garlic. And after Craig gets them chopped, we will put them all in the pan that we cooked the meat in, and we'll brown them and the garlic. Craig's getting to be an expert at using the chop. Here, I'll show you what to do. Pour those right in that pan, and then you can chop the rest of them. Craig needed a little break from chopping because it was making his eyes water and burn. Like I showed you. I went through the meat and I cut it into smaller pieces. So that's just waiting there for us to brown the onions and the garlic.
Maybe you can do it, Mom.
Okay, is it still making you cry?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll finish chopping. Craig is going to mince this garlic.
Come on.
Do you need help? You get it? Good job. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing with the other 2 cloves. And then 1 more. And then we are going to cook this onion and garlic until it's translucent. And then we will add it to the pot with the meat. Good job, Craig. What did you just do?
We'll just taste the garlic.
Yeah, Craig made the mistake of tasting the garlic that he was mincing. It's a little strong, isn't it?
Yeah.
You cook it, but I think that looks delicious. I love onions and I love garlic, so I think these are going to be very good. What do you think of all the onion and garlic, Craig?
They smell good to me.
Yeah. We have the onions and the garlic are cooked. Our meat is cooked, so now we need to add the onions to the meat. Think you can spoon that in there? This is what we're looking at. And next we will add all the rest of the ingredients except for the cornstarch in the water. And then we'll let it cook for an hour.
In the stove?
Mm-hmm. On top of the stove. In this Dutch oven. The next we need 2 tablespoons of tomato paste added to that. Nope, put it in the Dutch oven. Looks like we're getting heaping tablespoons. That's okay. Kind of hard to get out of there. You gotta kind of do this. You gotta go. Okay.
Olay!
Olay. Get us another tablespoon here.
Olay, olay.
Looks good. And then just bang that on the pan. Get it? Okay. So next, I need you to take this beef broth. We need 3 cups. No. Pour it in the measuring cup. And we're going to add beef broth until we get 3 cups. Let's look on the side of it and see what it says. How many? Hold on. What does this say now? It says now we have 2 cups. So take the other can and we'll pour it in until we have 3 cups. Wait. Okay, that's good. Exactly right. Okay, now you're going to pour that into the pan with the...
Here?
Yep, just pour it in that pan over there. And then we'll add 1 cup of wine. So we'll have to get a cup out. We add 1 cup of wine to it. I tasted a little bit of this wine and it's actually pretty good. I usually only like sweet wines, but this one wasn't too bad.
Just 1 cup.
Just 1 cup. Okay. So we have everything in the pot, and now we're going to cook it until it starts to boil, and then you simmer it for about an hour. So let's see, we need this on. And now we'll just cook that in there.
You'll simmer it, right?
Right, you can go up to your room, and I'll be up pretty soon so you can read your story, okay? All right, for the next step, Craig, we have measured 4 tablespoons of water into that glass measuring cup, and he is going to add 3 tablespoons of cornstarch, and they have to be level, Craig. Yeah, there you go.
How's that?
That's good. We need 1 more. And then we need a fork. Can you get a fork out of the drawer? I forgot to get that. And we'll mix that up good till there's no lumps and it's all mixed together. Oh, that's a bad sound. All right, and now Craig's going to add that to our, I'm going to call it a stew mixture, our filling mixture. And then can you mix that up with the spoon? And there's what we've got. I will tell you, I took the meat and I put it through the meat and the onions into my food processor because I thought for me that would be better in the meat pie than having a chunk of meat and a lot of onions. So, and I tasted it and I like it a lot better this way. Now we just have to cook this for about 5 minutes to thicken it up. And after that, we'll let it cool off and put it in the refrigerator overnight. And then we'll make them for dinner tomorrow night. Okay, Craig. You say good night?
Good night.
So it's definitely thickened. And this is what it looks like. Kind of a gravyish consistency. This recipe didn't say it, but I read in another one that you should refrigerate it overnight because it's just easier to handle. And it also enhances the flavor, which, I mean, I feel like that is true of many sauces and dishes. If you like chili and even lasagna, spaghetti sauce, if you refrigerate them overnight, the flavor gets much better. And I did add like a pinch of this to it because it said to add a bay leaf, which I didn't have. I think that did help the flavor too. It tastes very good.
Team.
You're going to be on that team?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, Craig went upstairs to change his shirt. We are going to make...
I want you to be on this team.
Oh, okay. I'll be on that team with you.
No, you're going to be on this team, a white team.
Okay.
And Craig is going to be on this team.
He's going to be on the meat team?
Yeah.
Okay, so...
I'll tell him that.
Okay. We have the meat that we made last night, the filling. And we have this puff pastry. This is the puff pastry that we're using. This is in the refrigerated section at the grocery store. You can also buy frozen. This is just a little faster. And Craig's pretty anxious to do this, and so is helper Libby. Wants to try and cut her own circle.
Stay here.
I'll hold it for you. You're doing pretty good. Here, let me turn it for you. She's actually doing pretty good. How about you do it this way now? Can you turn your knife around? Do it that way.
No, this one.
Okay, you do it whatever way works best for you. You are making it big. Okay, let's put it in the pan.
This one.
You're doing a pretty good job.
Oh, this one is very big. So
Yes, it is.
This one is going to be for me to put in.
Okay. Well, you can, yeah. And we'll get you the blue one in a minute. And Craig's.
Why do you give me a 1-1?
I
How's
forgot. Okay, so did you cut all the way around it?
Yep. Boyfriend.
Okay, so
Boy.
Mm.
now we have to, can you pick that circle up and put it in the pie pan for me? Very good. Now we just need to do the same thing with this other one. And then you can do the next one, Libby, after this, okay?
Moles all camp.
And this says you could also use like the jumbo muffin tins. You could use ramekins. I had these little pie pans I bought a long time ago. I was going to make little pot pies in, so we're using those. Save the filling, and we could always make some another day.
He's not the only one to eat it.
Oh, are you going to eat it too?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Haha, that was a joke.
I know, it was a joke. Good job, Craig. Craig's doing really well with this. Okay, now we'll put the filling in them. You use the, scoop the filling in. And this is our filling. You'll see earlier in the video, we actually made it last night and put it in the refrigerator overnight.
It's messy.
It's okay. You can use that big scoop that's laying there if you want. I actually got the big one out to use for you. Do you want to use the big one? I guess not.
But that one's mine.
What? It's okay.
Tree.
I think the next time I made these, I put some carrots in them, but I just didn't have any carrots last night. And the original recipe I was looking at didn't call for carrots.
How's that, Mama?
That's looking good. Okay, so Craig's just finishing up putting the tops on the little pies. Okay, there's another circle, Craig. You put that on top. Okay, we just have 2 more to go.
Me, I'm gonna do it too. I'm gonna do it too.
We have all our little Aussie meat pies ready to go into the oven. We've pierced each one with a knife 3 or 4 times. We put some egg wash on, and now we'll bake them for 20 to 25 minutes. Here's a look at the finished products. We need to let them cool a little bit before we eat them. They're looking pretty good. They also look giant. I can see why you would want to make them in the ramekins or the muffin tins, because these are like pot pie size. Definitely you wouldn't want to pick these up and eat them with your hands like the small ones. I took it out of the pie pan. Are you going to try and bite it like that? It might be hot. Or use the fork. When it cools off, you can just pick it up. Well, maybe it would be easier just take a bite of it. You want to just try and take a bite of it?
No.
Okay. Well, that looks like... Or do you want me to cut it in half? Or are you getting it? Okay.
I'm getting it.
Okay. Looks like this is the first real bite here.
No. Like I said.
And after this bite, you can tell me about it.
Tastes Australian, like in the farmer's market.
Oh, it tastes like the ones from the farmer's market? Does that mean it tastes good? Should we make them again sometime? Yeah. They weren't... I mean, they took a little time because of all the chopping. But this didn't really take us that much time, just the chopping, the rest of it. And I think next time it will be easier too, because we know what we're doing. The next time we probably will make them in a smaller container, like a muffin tin or a ramekin or something. But they look delicious. I haven't tried it yet, but I've had the filling yesterday. I know they're going to be really good. Craig's going to try. Are you going to try picking it up?
No, you're making a mess.
Okay. I cut mine in half so you can see the inside. I think if you made the little ones, it would be better because the filling does want to run out of them. So if you had a handheld size, you wouldn't have to worry about that. But this will be fine. We're just eating it on a plate. And it's also still very hot, so it would probably help if they weren't so hot. But all in all, they are delicious. Craig, can you tell us, what did you think of the Australian meat pies that we made?
They taste good, Mom. They taste Australian.
They were very delicious, weren't they?
Yep.
What did you like better, the sausage rolls or the Australian meat pies?
The Australian meat pies. The sausage rolls give me fever dreams, remember?
I do remember that. I don't know which I liked them both. It'd be a toss-up, but those meat pies they're just like something I've never had before. Those were great.
He's the American Eagle, who is named the father type of all Webkins. Proud, bold, and extremely brave. His motto is, where there's a will, there's a way. Thus marks his appearance in 2012.
And where did he come from?
In Des Moines.
Like one of the thrift stores?
Yeah, one of the thrift stores.
Well, he seems like a good chap.
Yep. Toot and Puddle, you are my sunshine. It was morning in Woodcock Pocket. The sun was shining, birds were singing, blossoms were busting, and Toot was moping. When Puddle asked, "What's the matter?" Toot said, "Oh, nothing." "I've never seen Toot mope," said Tulip. "He always so happy." "Everybody mopes sometimes," said Puddle. "Even Toot." "And it's such a beautiful day," Tulip said. "The sky is so blue." The next morning when Toot came into the kitchen, he asked Puddle, "How do I look?" "How do you look?" Puddle said. "You look the same as ever." "My ears are too big," Toot said. "Of course they are," Puddle said. "Your ears are perfect." "Do you think my eyes are too small?" Toot asked. Puddle looked at his friend's eyes. "I don't think so," he said. "I feel too pink," Toot said. "You can't be too pink." "You're just saying that," said Toot, and he moped out of the room. Mo, mo, mo. That evening, Puddle made 5-berry cobbler with heaps of whipped cream. "I know, 5-berry cobbler is your favorite," he said to his friend. "It's delicious," Toot told him. "Thank you." Toot's smile popped out for the first time in 2 days. "It worked! It worked!" Tulip sang the next morning. "Hooray for 5-berry cobbler!" "I think you're right," cheered Puddle. He was very relieved. But when Toot came poking across the yard, he didn't look any happier than he had been before. "Is Toot still blue?" Tulip asked. "Maybe he's bored," Puddle declared. "What Toot needs is adventure." "There was tons of adventure," Tulip said. "We never would have dared the rabbits without you," Puddle told Toot. "Anyone can float down a river," Toot replied. He was still moping. So Puddle had another idea. "Maybe Toot is feeling lonely. We haven't had company in Woodcock Pocket all summer." Tulip's eyes brightened. "There's nothing better than company," she said. "Let's invite everyone." Everyone came. Jenny, Otto, and Phil. Soon Puddle had everyone singing, "You are my sunshine." "Let's play hide and seek," Otto suggested. "Come on, Toot," said Puddle, calling. "You're it." But Toot said, "I'm not in the mood to be right now. "I think everyone has a wonderful time," Puddle said. "Everyone but Toot," said Tulip. "I sure miss the old Toot," Puddle said. "Me too," said Tulip. Sunday morning wasn't sunny. "I think something is coming," Puddle said anxiously. "I'm afraid you're right," said Tulip. Late that afternoon, lightning crackled, thunder rumbled, and wind lashed Woodcock Pocket with rain. It was the biggest and scariest storm Puddle could remember. It went on all night. Toot was the only one who didn't seem afraid. In the morning, Woodcock Pocket was flooded, and there were leaves and branches all over the place. But the air felt different, more fresh and exciting, and the world seemed crisp and new. And when Toot came marching across the yard, he was the old Toot. He walked was bouncy, his head was up, and his whole pink face was smiling. "I'm glad you're not moping anymore," Puddle said. "Was I moping?" Toot asked. "Just a little," Puddle told him. "Sometimes you'll need a big whooping thunderstorm to clear the air." "Yes," said Tulip. "Thunderstorms are absolutely necessary. Friends too," thought Toot. The end. And this is Craig A. Favre saying, keep on having a great day and we'll see you tomorrow.